a junior in college, I went to Ecuador for 5 months. I had been learning Spanish, and I'm very, very bad at languages, like horribly bad. Took Latin for 2 years. Best at the unspoken language. That's the best language I ever did. I took French. Oh, that was bad. And I took Spanish, which everybody says, oh, that's an easy language. It's going to be great. It was not. It was very difficult. And when I got down to Quito, it was an experiential program where you're immersed in different communities, and you got lectures by local leaders and community organizers and indigenous peoples, and you weren't stuck at a university. So I got down there, and the first week I was there, we were only with each other. You know, almost everybody's from California except for me. And we were working on our Spanish, and I was avoiding talking so badly that we had to go out, and we got an assignment on Friday that was supposed to be like our graduation day. And they're like, okay, we're going to give you the name of the city, and you have to answer these things about the city, and you're going to have to go out and find it. That's it. This is before smartphones. It's not like I could put the navigator in. We had to navigate, 45-minute bus ride out to nowhere and sit in a little village. And I avoided talking the entire time till the other two people who were with me forced me to speak. I still don't think I understand what the woman said. I made it up. But I spoke some version of Spanish, and I got better. I mean, the thing is, I got better while I was there. So by the time I was about 2.5 months in, I had already gone through a lot of trauma, which at some point I'll share. But I decided to go do a independent study on the coast. And when I got down there, I was very comfortable with my Spanish. I'd been speaking Spanish really great. On the coast, everybody has this strange accent where they drop N's and T's and they slur everything together. And when I first got down there, my contact, because I didn't have a real place where I was going to do my independent study yet, my contact was, hi, how are you? What's your name? And I said, my name's Emily Durway. And he said, excuse me, what's your name? And I said, my name's Emily Durway. He said, no, what's your name? And I said, my name's Emily Durway. And then he looked at Eva Contreras, who I was there with, who's much darker than me. She was Mexican, she is Mexican. And she said the exact same, he looked at her and he said, what's her name? And she rolled my R in my last name, and suddenly it was like, oh, you're Emily Durway. And I'm like, yep, this is gonna go well. So I was in a small village for a while, all by myself for part of it. I had a place I slept in at night that was like just like a bed and a shower and a bathroom, and that was it. And then I spent all day immersed with people who did not speak Spanish. And I was getting good. I was getting really good. I was getting so much better. And I was learning how to speak, and I was becoming almost fluent. And because the accent was so different, it really made me listen a lot. I remember the one day I did get a hold of an English language novel. It was 750 pages, and it was about alien abduction. Something I care nothing about. I read it like it was a Bible, and I was praying because I needed to cure cancer or something. I don't know, it was amazing. I read it in like 4 hours, and I'm a slow reader. So it was a very weird experience to suddenly see English and it's just flowing to your eyes. So I was getting better and better, and I felt really good at the end of my program. I'd learned how to speak Spanish, and I was ready to tour. My mom and my dad came down, and we actually traveled through Ecuador and then into Bolivia, Peru, and then Bolivia. It was an amazing trip. But on the last day that I had in Bolivia, in La Paz, before I flew back to Quito to spend a couple weeks with people I knew. I had gotten this horrible cold. I was going to fly with the cold, but it was really bad. I was coughing, you couldn't understand me. And we had gotten into a taxi cab to take me to the airport. My parents were with me. My parents didn't understand Spanish anymore. My father used to when he was younger. He actually traveled through South America and Central America. He actually drove from Texas down to Panama at some point, back when you could do that in the 60s, although it still wasn't really safe, but he did it. The cab driver was driving us, and he was talking to his dispatch. And she's like, so how much are you going to charge them for this trip to the airport? He's like, oh, I'm going to charge them 3 times the amount. She's like, what? And he's like, yep, I'm going to charge them 3 times the amount. They don't know what they're doing, you know. And even the dispatcher's like, that's too much. You shouldn't do that. And I just remember sitting there with my cold, getting ready to get on a plane, and I knew I was going to have pain in my ears, and I wasn't looking forward to it. As we pulled up to the airport, I looked at that cab driver, and I started cursing him the fuck out in Spanish. And I'm like, you asshole, what do you do? You're a thief. You don't know what you're doing. How dare you do this? Would your family be proud of you? All this stuff. And I'm like, I guess I wasn't scared to speak Spanish anymore. I don't know if I should have gone to the dark side. Still feel sort of guilty about that because he was just a cab driver trying to make money off some tourists. Sort of like that's a whole job there. That's not a big deal. But I remember the one thing I took away from that was even with the guilt of feeling that way, I was still really proud about how I had learned Spanish and how good I had become at it. And that's my story.